Well, a very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Pro Billiard TV and this 2026 Predator Euro Tour. It's our first of the year, and we're at the beautiful Miracle Resort in Antalya for the Turkiye Open. And it's 8-ball. You join us on the final day, and we kick things off with an absolute clanger of a quarter-final, an all-Polish collision between Wiktor Forunski and a very much informed Daniel Maciol. My name is Gethin Davis, and assisting me in the box to bring you this exciting encounter, my good friend and colleague, Aya Sarabi. Aya, are you ready for this one, sir?
Good morning, Gethin. Good morning, all the pool fans from wherever you're watching. Well, I guess we don't have to guess which one of these two players is Daniel Maciol representing. I like that. That's a very nice shirt, by the way. That's awesome. I kind of feel like that's one of Polish Premier League football jerseys, but you know, he's at the table and he won that 10-ball European Championships, well, with a donut. So that's what you can expect from him. And you know, his opponent, Wiktor Forunski, the younger brother of Mieszko, I believe. I just need to double check that, but well, what a match we have.
Yeah.
What a match we have, Gethin. We're truly blessed to have such a spectacular lineup to start off the day.
Yeah, this was my most excited breakfast of the last 4 days. And I had a big smile on my face when I saw this match come up. And yeah, as you mentioned, Daniel Maciol winning the 10 and the 9-ball already at the European Championships here in Antalya just last week. And formidable performances, bearing in mind he'd just flown in straight from Las Vegas, as he was over there shooting not just for himself but also for Team Poland in the World Team Championships, making the final. So already a lot of success for this young man. And I have to say, Wiktor Forunski will not be daunted, though, by Daniel. So, not a bad break. Looks like solids would be the best option, Aya. However, he's got options on both to kick off.
Yeah. He'll play either a nudge into the 7 and a 14 or play position on him. Yeah, I think that was the safe way. I'll tell you what though, Gethin, he's been a little bit unfortunate as that 7-ball actually got stuck in one of the dots in the tap rack. He's got no shot on here unless he plays a bank shot on the 4 perhaps. He's been really unfortunate. I've really felt like that was the right shot to play, but he'll have to play a bank shot if he wants to attack here. And he's looking at the 7-ball, I believe, or is it the 3-ball? The 7-ball. So he's trying to bank the 7 into the left middle pocket here. The 3-ball, my mistake. And something else, Gethin, and I'm sure our fans who've been following all these Euro Tours and European Championships, when you go over to the EPBF website, you can have a look at the draw and all the players still in it in the event. Well, something very special happened in this Euro Tour. We had 11 Polish contestants at the last 32. From that 11, we had 8 remaining in the last 16. And what do you know, in the quarterfinals, 6 out of 8 players representing Poland.
It's quite incredible. It's quite incredible, to be fair, in such a high-class field. 130 players entered this. And, well, in the European Championships, I thought it was quite a spectacle to see an all-German semi-final in the straight men's event. But yeah, looking down the list, 3 of the 4 quarterfinals are all Polish lineups, and that just goes to show the strength coming out of Poland, and not just in the senior ranks. The juniors are coming through strong as well. Talking of the junior ranks, Wiktor Forunski is certainly one of the receivers of that accolade. Now, that 3-ball is not going to help Viktor here. He may be able to avoid it.
Yeah, you can try and pot the 14 as well if he wishes here. Now, because like you just mentioned, that 3-ball is a big hindrance, I thought if he could, well, he's taking the 10. I'm not so sure. Cutting it or off the 8-ball? Yeah, off the 8-ball. No, it's worked out fine actually. Not so sure whether he wants to drop this 15-ball in. Pocket speed, it's gonna be very tough to play position on a 14, so might have to take 1 or 2 rails. Oh, he's trying to pot it long. Yeah, same rules here.
Yeah, he's got to come right back across the table to where he is now, onto that long rail to keep shape on the 4. Ooh, and that was a difficult shot in itself. Did get shape on the 14 though. Full credit to him for keeping good cue ball. Maybe that 14 will now come to the rescue and hamper Maciol on this 3, but we do know how attacking he is. Yeah, he will look to try and sort that issue out right away.
Yeah, another thing, just coincidence of course, 2 left-handers in this match.
Good spot. Yeah, see, look, straight into that problem area. And it's funny, I did see a social media post recently, claiming that all the best billiard players are left-handed. And some of the picks in the list, I couldn't really argue with. There are some great left-handed players out there with a real distinct style as well.
I have to say though, getting, I think the Kopin brothers as well as Fedor Gorst and Ekland Kochi have proven otherwise, as well as Shane Van Boning. So yes, we have very, I mean, extraordinary left-handed players, but it's what I would say is and that's science backed, is that the left-handed players, they do use a different part of the brain. That's why they always seem to come up with these spectacular shots more often as compared to the right-handed players. They're a bit more creative. Usually they're very good at potting as well. You know, they have that weapon in the locker. But, you know.
Yeah, good point, Arya. I have noticed that a lot of artistic people, actors, musicians, a lot more of them are left-handed than compared to the average in your classroom at school. Now, after sorting that 3 out, he dropped his hand there, looking like he'd missed that shot, but...
Yeah, it actually looked like he's missed it. And, you know, I'll tell you what, by putting the 6 in the wrong part of the pocket, he's landed perfect now on the 5. So if he would have putted it the other way around, that cue ball would have been a lot thinner on the 5 now. So that's a little scare. He should go on to clear the rack here now.
Well, Viktor isn't going to get many opportunities from a mistake of Maciol. He did in this rack and wasn't able to convert it. Now, I'm going to say safely now, he's going to need to do a little bit better than that from any of Maciol's mistakes, because they will be few and far between. But we know what Viktor's like when he gets in and amongst the balls. But this is the start Maciol will have wanted, looking to prove that number 13 wrong. Maybe it's lucky for some in Poland. It's traditionally an unlucky number, but not for Maciol at the moment. And for our astute viewers, yes, Maciol is breaking again. It is alternate break, but each player gets a set of 2 breaks each. And let me tell you, after a couple of matches that Arya and I have had the pleasure of commentating, it has made for some very interesting swings in momentum, and does put a different type of pressure on the player as well. It's kind of interesting to see how it plays out. This is the third event, I believe, that we've had like this, and it's quite exciting stuff, Arya.
Absolutely, it adds a different element to the game. You know, we've been accustomed to the alternate break, one break per player, and even in that you can see someone running away with it, because if you don't produce the goods on your break, like it seemed to have happened, although that 5-ball, no, it's not dropped. Look, 8-ball in general is already very break and run prone, and it's out of all the rotational games, it's the highest percentage of running the table. And at this level, quarterfinals of a Euro Tour, I mean, you don't make a ball on the break, more often than not, you can bet your money on it that you will lose the rack. So when you have 2 breaks, and we don't want to jinx anyone, and of the 2 breaks you don't pot a ball, you're already 2-0 down. And hoping that you get a chance on, you know, the other guy's break. So within a gap of 20 minutes, you could be 4-0 down, and you haven't actually taken a pot on.
No, we have seen that on a couple of occasions. Yesterday, we did see someone break and run both their matches, and it still turned their opening 2, and it still turned into quite a close affair. So there's a lot of room out there for momentum shifts. Now, what is WIKTOR having a look at here? Because Daniel's got a good spread of the balls, and he's got a few options. And I kind of like both of them here, but starting off with this 9 will be handy, because it was quite close to the 2, which may have hampered getting on it in the future.
I think he can use the 10 now to play position on the 12 if he wishes to do so. It's just a matter of preference, of course. Some players would actually prefer to get rid of the balls in the vicinity of the 8 and then go downwards. Yeah, he's played on that 12, absolutely plumb. Now, as you can see, the 15 and the 13 are wide in the open, but there are a couple of balls in the way. So when you play position, there's 2 things. You don't want to hook yourself behind them, nor make the cueing hampered.
Would you think it's in his favour now to take these 3 stripes that are at the bottom of the table to then focus on them too?
Yeah, that's likely the plan. You know, what's the benefit of going down and then all of a sudden shifting up and down? That wouldn't make any sense, really. So he'd have to play his cue ball in an area to avoid and eliminate what I've just said is, you know, they're wide in the open, but a couple of the balls located in the center of the table can actually be a nuisance. So I mean, he'll need to make up his mind here. I think the 15 also goes past in between the gap of the 8 and the 13. So if he can send his cue ball towards the left side rail, somewhere around the first diamond below the middle pocket, or even the middle diamond, and that cue ball is coming into a line, and he's landed perfect here on the 15. Just a small gentle stop shot, and he's off and running. Let's not forget, this was on the break of Daniel Maciol. Just have to wait and see how this match will unfold. But you know, we've talked about the break playing a huge part. And to emphasize that, this is the result. When you don't pot a ball on the break, you can expect this all day long.
Yeah, exactly. No, you've put it very well, Arya. And at this level, I'm sure both these players have been doing this to their opponents and punishing any dry breaks that come their way. And that brings the scoreline back to 1 apiece. Viktor Fortuni to break, and well, let's have a little look at how he's breaking, because if he's able to start making balls and position off the break, he could start to develop quite a handy lead, and maybe a position Daniel's not so used to being in. I have noticed a few of his wins throughout this event. It's been very lopsided. And we do have the other quarterfinals all underway, both women's and men's. Over on our other TV table 3 is the matchup between Luca Men and the Spaniard Alvaro Conanicha, and that is just kicking off, but that's the only match in the quarterfinals that doesn't involve a Polish player. On the other tables, Dominik Jastrzab against Wojciech Szewczak, and on the other table, Radoslav Babica against Simon Kural. I'll bring you updates on the women's quarterfinals as well. We have an all-German lineup on table 1. Miriam Steiner, who won the European Team Championship with Ina Kaplan, takes on Pia Filler. I'm sure they know each other rather well. They are two tough players meeting in the quarters. Let's have a look at Viktor Forunski and his break. Score locked at 1-1. He now begins his set of 2 breaks.
Nice control on the cue ball. And he's potted 2 balls off the break. Now then, Gethin, what are we thinking? First glance here.
I'm looking down just underneath that 8 ball with the cluster of 5 balls there. And a close inspection of that will make things a little bit easier. Looks like the 6 might go underneath the 9. I don't think the 4 passes the 9. If it does, that might just encourage a good sniff of the solids. But yeah, good break. And I don't know if it's something that I just picked up on because it was Viktor, but he seemed to have his whole arm up to his elbow rested on the table before he took his break, and it just came across as unusual. It's his style. Very effective, if it is his thing.
Yeah, not really surprised that he's taken his time out there. It's all about, you know, figuring out a pathway to make, well, the path of least resistance, really.
If he didn't fancy the orange, I did like the cut on the 11, which would open the 7 up immediately. But he's looking like he wants to come down. I was going to say he was looking to come down off the 2 to maybe attack the 6 straight away and not leave these 2, the 4 and the 6, till the end. I actually like this way. Oh, I don't think he's come far enough though.
I'm just wondering if that 4 ball goes past the 9. Yes, lift this one rather thin. I have to play this delicate. The harder he hit these, the less time the cue ball has to grip the spin. Loads of bottom and side spin just to swing it around the angles. I don't think
Nicely done.
Does that 7 pass the 1? I don't think it does, so I have to play this combination. And well, it's all fine. I do feel like he'll make the combination, but how do you control the 7? And let's not forget that 4 ball is a danger ball by all accounts.
Well, I actually thought he'd come up far enough for the 1 there. He didn't, and maybe there was a case for having to take that 1 at his opening opportunity. But great recovery. Probably digging a bit of a deeper hole for himself, though, you feel, are you?
Well, actually, look, this is far from easy, but he's left himself an angle to swing his cue ball around the right side. He'll have to play this very pocket speed, slow, and with loads of right-hand spin. If he can make the 7 and actually control the speed of the cue ball off the rail, I'll give him good odds to land on the 4 here. So it's not
He's been
all bad news, but it's not an easy shot.
Oh, I was just about to say he has been potting really well, although cue ball was running a little astray. He's just missed the 7. Looking to play the shot you were suggesting, Arya, but putting side with that amount of distance on a thin cut does make that pot very challenging. What has he left Maciol? Looks like a potential easy opener into the side pocket. He's having a look to see if he's got an angle on the 9, but something's going to happen with the 14-11. Maybe potting the 9 will open them up.
Not sure what happened. I mean,
He's having a bit of banter with the ref. I think it's the timekeeper.
Yeah, if you can take the 9 right here, that will open up the pathway for the other 2 balls into the same corner pocket. Like you said at the beginning of the rack, that the 11 can be attacked up table as a cut back. So you have to think, Gethin, the key in this rack is landing nicely on that 11 and 14. The rest seem like a formality.
Yeah, he's just looking at getting the right shape to play off the orange 13 stripe over across to where he is situated now to take this shot. That's left him a little angle indeed. And yeah, as you see where he's addressing the cue there, he'll be looking to land somewhere there and possibly will have options on both the 11 and the green 14.
Yeah, if you send your cue ball towards the middle diamond on the side rail, that'd be the perfect line. That's exactly where that cue ball is tracked.
I'm trying to think if that's a football top, yellow and black. Is that Borussia Dortmund? I'm not too sure. I'm trying to remember my football colours from many years back. Mind you, they've probably all changed by now.
No. Borussia Dortmund does have yellow and black, but this is not Borussia Dortmund. I recognize their jersey. It's a different logo. It actually could be one of the local leagues in Poland as well.
I'll have a little look.
Could have played that one a little bit better. Still okay, of course, but play that a little bit casual.
It's on the way. Oh, took a little bit of the knuckle, but pocket speed certainly helped. And Daniel Maciol returning the favour and taking one against Victor's break. He will get to break again, though, for the second. And again, he's just had a little look over at the timekeeper. I don't know if there's a problem over there, but clearly Daniel just having a conversation to clear anything up. Just having a quick look out, give you a bit update on the scores in the men's event. Well, Radoslav Babica is 3-2 up over Simon Kural. Luka Men has taken early 3-0 lead over Alvaro Canoniga. And in the last match, Wojciech Szewczak 3-2 up on Dominik Jastrab. So, well, we were always guaranteed to get 3 poles into the semi-finals. Which ones? Well, we'll be finding out soon. Viktor Fortuni just off centre for his break. Yeah. Is that a little bit? I think that's the same spot he broke from before.
Yeah, the exact same spot, although throughout the past 2 weeks, including the European Pool Championships, I did notice that the more you're breaking from the center line, you get a very good layout. Now, he did hit it as good as he could have, but have a look at this. There's still a few problems at the table. The most obvious one is the 5 ball next to the 12.
Well, there's a couple of trouble stripes out there. That would push me towards favouring solids here. But then that does bring the 5. And, well, 4 balls up against the long rail. There is a little gap through to it between the 14 and the rail. So, a few problems for Viktor to navigate. Good opener with the 1 ball. Oh, he's turning me down. Looks like he's going for the 15. Looked like he was going for the 15 then, are you?
Well, I don't know. What was he trying to play the nudge on the 5 there? Can't really tell what he's played there. If he was playing for the 6, he's vastly overran that one. And if that 3, I do think the 3 goes past the 2, so he's still okay here. He can continue the run.
Yeah, good recovery.
I mean, he's got the option here now to put the 6, come off the bottom rail into the 12 ideally. He doesn't want to hit the 5. If he hits the 12 off the bottom rail, he should have a putt on the 7 or even better on the 5. It's not without any risk though. A cue ball needs to come in, you know, towards the middle diamond on the bottom rail. Yeah, he hit the joint, and it's okay. He can take the 5 ball now.
Yeah, nice shot. Still going to give him something to think about with the 4. But it looks like the 4 will pass all the way up to the top right if he's forced into that shot.
Yeah, also in the bottom right, but then the cue ball needs to be glued to the side rail, so that's a very small margin.
Yeah, he's just had a look at that now, are you? You have to be pinpoint with the cue ball to take the 4 on from above it. He's having a good think here. The only reason I suggested playing the awkward one all the way up the rail is because of where the 7 is. Might lend good support for getting position. But where the 2 and the 8 is... Oh. He may want to leave them till last, so he's looking at playing 7 to the 4 to come above it, or is he playing the 2 to the 4?
Yeah, the 2 to the 4 is a lot easier if that's the way he's going forward, but yeah, whatever happens, he'll have to play a very good positional shot on that 4 ball eventually.
And as you see from here, Arya, the 8 doesn't pass the 15 into the top left. So just needs to be a bit more particular and leaving this 4 till last. Ooh. He's asking quite a lot of himself here.
Yeah, it's landed very awkward now. He's in a bit of trouble now. Look, if that 11 was not in his way, there could have been a chance where he would power draw this and maybe go into the 4 and the 14. This becomes very difficult. Hampered cueing. Yeah, he still played it.
What a
What
shot.
a shot he's played. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Have a look at the angle. He can swing around the cue ball towards the left side to pot the 8 into the bottom right. Sorry, top right. That was a very good shot.
Yeah, he, from my perspective, looked really in trouble there. And that one shot has just brought it back to him in a real nice fashion. Didn't want to do too much with the cue ball. Brought it back across off the long rail. Top right is the call, Arya. And this to bring the score back to 2-2 and win his last of his set of 2 breaks. We'll be back to square one in some respects. Yeah, well done. Back to evens, 2-2. And it will be now Daniel Maciol to start off the round of his 2 breaks. I mentioned we have the women's quarterfinals taking place at the same time. Over on table 1, a mammoth matchup, all German affair between Pia Filler and Miriam Steiner. Pia leading 2 racks to 1. Over on the other quarterfinals, we have the Ukrainian Daria Saranchuk, who's been playing very well these past few days, taking on Chantal Stadler, leading 3 racks to 0. Anna Gradiznik is leading 5 racks to 2 over Monika Zabek, another Polish player in a quarterfinal. And in the last one, Yasmin Ushan 4-2 up over Derose Va, who is playing delightfully at the moment. So some real tough women in the quarterfinals. That one's going to become an absolute exciting encounter.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the 2 top favorites and opposite halves of the draw, Pia Filler as well as Yasmin Ushan. But of course, Pia Filler up against Ina Kaplan, who is no slouch by any means.
No, as we've been talking about how strong the Polish contingency is here, the Germans also, and at the European Championships, a good performance from the Spanish as well, winning the team event and really bringing a lot of life and bubble and cheer to this miracle resort arena here in Antalya. There's been a fantastic few weeks of pool, and this final day looks like it's going to wrap up the Euro Tour beautifully. It's poised just perfect.
Absolutely. Solid's the way forward. That 7 does go past the 9 into the side pocket, as you can see here. And just slow roll this in. Use the 6. Probably take the 5 afterwards. And he can play his cue ball in an area mid-table where it leave himself 3 shots. The 4, 1 and the 2. Gethin, can we foresee any problems with this layout?
Well, if he'd have finished straight on the 2, it may have not allowed him to get to the 1 in the fashion he wants to, but I have to say, I don't even mind him taking that 7 as the last ball. 2-4-1-7, but I think Maciol's going for the 1 next.
No,
Oh, no.
taking
No.
the 4 first.
Yeah, 4-1-7. And then doesn't really need to do too much to the cue ball, just needs to get good shape on that 7 to the side pocket. Giving us a bit of Max Benko action, showing us where he wants the cue ball. Makes it nice and easy for us in the commentating box. We can speculate rather. Now, I'm sure he would have wanted to have been a bit straighter on this 7.
Yeah, he's all right. Top this one off the side rail. No real problems. Textbook stuff.
Indeed, and this is what we've come to recognise from Daniel Maciol. Takes a 3-2 lead. Will get the second of his 2 breaks. Will be looking to extend his lead now to 2 and just put a bit of pressure on Victor's break. And I mentioned about the women's quarterfinals and men's quarterfinals underway. Following on from this, we will be into semi-finals. We'll have 2 rounds of the semi-finals streamed to you, and then we'll be into the final 4 matches for you today. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Polish players fare. If we have an all-Polish final, that will be... I'm trying to think, the last time I commentated on an all-Polish final, be great for the country.
Yeah, absolutely. As we have a closer look on this break, you can see Daniel of the 2 players. Oh, he's been unlucky. Although I say unlucky, that cue ball went way too close for liking, near that side pocket. But I was about to say, of the 2 players, he does break a bit square on the pack in terms of the angle he leaves his cue ball. Doesn't really mean a lot now, considering the outcome. Now the problem here is, as you can see, there's a lot of balls around the 8 ball, so regardless of you going for the stripes or solids, you have to negotiate with the 8 at some point.
Yeah, good point, Aya.
Long putt on the 4, maybe screw his cue ball in between the gap of the 13 and the 10. He can even play a gentle nudge on the 13, but the only problem with that is he can land awkward. He's taking the 4 ball on here. So 1 good putt, and even more so a positional shot. He's got a great chance to nick this one. Yeah, perfectly played. Clearly see the 7 here. And he's opened up the 8 ball by that 1 single shot there. And he already mentioned something at the back end of that previous rack. When you have 2 very good players at the table, it really does make commentating very easy, because they just make it look so easy, don't they?
Yeah, the way he's been able to hold shape on that 5 as well. It's a real tricky spot. He's going to be able to take it on here. And that will have been in 3 very nice shots. Most of his trouble dealt with. And look how open that 8 ball is now. As he pushes the 10 a little closer to it.
Yeah. Again, no real problems at the table. I'm just curious to see which ball he's going to use to play position on the 8 eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I do like the red 3, but it's a small window to freeze off of. He may... Well, I thought if he didn't like that, he'd play the 3 first and then 1, 2, and back up for the 8. Clearly fancies the 3 to the 8.
Yeah. Yeah, if he can leave himself a quarter ball angle on the 3, can swing his cue ball around the left side of the table. This will do as well, as long as he doesn't land at the wrong side of the 9 ball. Although he is looking at that small gap you were just mentioning. I feel the higher percentage shot is to swing your cue ball at the right side of the table. Just make sure you land on the right side of the 9, that the 9 doesn't come into play. That feels like the higher percentage positional shot for me. It's tight, but I think he's on it. Perfect. Nicely played.
Very, very nicely played indeed. And how important will that rack be for the Pole, Wiktor Forunski, because he will now get back to the table, 3 apiece with the break. And you have to say, small advantage to him now. If he's able to start getting the break working and converting them, well, putting 2 on Daniel will add a bit of pressure. Be very interesting to see how that plays out. He's just disappeared from our screens. Didn't look like he was going to take a break, Aya. What are you thinking? Is he taking his time out? Well, I'm going to assume that he has, and Aya and myself will take a quick few minutes with him at this 3-all point in this race to 9, and we will be back with you very shortly to bring you more action from the quarterfinals here at the Miracle Resort Predator Euro Tour. We'll be right back. Well, a warm welcome back. Not conclusive if Wiktor took a break, timeout or not. I would suggest he has. He's back at the table. Didn't need to take too long. And he will now get his set of 2 breaks. Score level at 3-3. And this is a race to 9. My name is Gethin Davis. Joining me in the box, Aya Sarabi. And let's just have a look at the other scores in the men's event right now. Simon Kural leading 4-3 against Radoslav Babica. Alvaro Cananija is trading 3-1 to Luka Men. And Wojciech Szewczak, Dominik Jastrzęb is locked at 4 apiece. Again, all the scores on EPBF.com. Wiktor Forunski with his second round of 2 breaks.
Keep an eye out on the 13. Oh, how unlucky is that? Have a look at a couple of the balls near the pocket.
So he could have had 5 drop on that break. Unbelievable.
I suppose his only I say saving grace. That 8 ball doesn't look like a clear-cut shot just yet. So just wondering how you will manage that situation. You know, the thing is that 4 ball is blocking the middle pocket for the 9. If it wasn't for that 4 ball, I would have actually preferred the stripes just to get rid of that ball that's on the top of the 8. That is, of course, goes without saying that if that ball putts, if it doesn't, then, you know, forget about it.
It's a bit of an interesting layout. That 9 ball has just sat underneath the 4. Otherwise, there could have been a case for taking on the stripes. Only because of where the 10 ball was, but it looks like Daniel's come underneath the 3 and the 6 to try and deal with that now. I think he'll only be able to take one of them out at the moment. The 2 ball only has 1 pocket to go for. And the 3 is going to need to come underneath the 3. Nice shot on the 6. Maybe can get from the 4 underneath the 3. Or to play over into the top right pocket.
Yeah, one thing is for certain. This is one of those racks, Gethin, where you really need to be precise with the cue ball.
The way I'm looking at it, he's either got to try and do something off the 7 to open up the 8, unless he doesn't need to open up the 8, that is. Yeah, he's not completely happy with the result there. He's now just going to have to change tack somewhat.
Well, I'm
Deep
just
draw.
wondering if he can nudge into the 8. No, he doesn't. He hasn't got the angle for that. Because where the 4 ball is sitting, he could have played a 3 ball combination, 7 into the 11, and try and pot the 4. But he would have opened up that 8 ball a bit more, but, well, likely to play pinpoint position on the 8 when he gets to that stage.
Well, you mentioned it's going to need pinpoint precision. Maciol playing with millimeters out there at the moment. Now we'll see what is available on this 8 ball. Camera angle.
Well, there you go. That's where he needs to land with his cue ball. It's a little off straight. It's one of those I feel like you have to play with side just to turn the 8 ball in. sure the ref will be called on this one. Should be, at least. I think this is the type of shot for a ref. You have to be, you know, literally over the balls just to be absolutely sure which one he hits first.
Big 8-ball, in fairness. Take one on Victor's break. Looked legal. Referee happy. Daniel Maciol, another point on the board, regains the lead. Scores 4-3. Victor Forunski will get the second of his 2 breaks. And both players not getting it their own way, especially from the break shot area. I have to say, when you and I were having our little back channel chat before the match started, you made a great point where we just didn't, well, you didn't feel there was going to be any missed balls. There have hardly been many missed balls, but just not the clear racks that either of these players were hoping to get to the table to.
No, and this is a pattern we've seen throughout the event, right? Most of the time, at the beginning, there's a couple of turnovers, but, you know, once both players settle, you just see perfect pool, and this is also heading in the same direction. Ronald was far from easy, as you would have noticed, and he still came up with the goods.
Yep, and, well, we're getting to the midway stage now. Mini breaks could be very beneficial, so Victor will be keen. He has had a couple of good breaks, made balls. He made a fantastic 4 to start off his account in the last rack, just wasn't able to convert it. Has made a ball here. If the 6 doesn't go, because the 4's blocked, there may be a case for stripes. He's just gone to double check because I think he likes the look of the solids for the first shot. May not even be a shot on for the stripes.
No, first glance, you can't really see an obvious pot for the stripes, and the solids are pretty decent actually. It's all about getting early on the 4 ball, you'd feel. Now, he's got a couple of options to play on the 4 ball. First and foremost, probably take the 3 to the side. That is what he's eyeing up here.
Oh, I think that 4 is on. And if the 5 doesn't pass down past the 13, he does have an opportunity maybe just to draw back and take the long 5. Not an easy shot. All the way up the table. Maybe that would suggest there's enough of a gap. Oh, the cameraman says yes too. Not a bad opportunity for the young man here. That 6 does need to pass though, into the top right pocket.
Yeah, that definitely goes, that 6 ball. Similar type of situation now. It's not a straightforward layout. Imperative, he leaves himself angles to work with. So, looking to take the 5 after the 1. As you can see, would prefer to have a bit more angle than having to play it with power. And of course, these types of shots, as he's left himself here, These are very common practice routines where you practice these cutbacks down the rail and send your cue ball across side to side, playing your cue ball in areas, and they come in handy exactly in this type of situation. And even though it looks like it's a bit thinner on this 5, these top players rarely miss one of these.
I'm going to stay quiet until he's played the shot, because this is a tough one. Oh, he's caught just too much. Did the knock help? Oh, you couldn't get closer to that ball finding gravity, Aya. I was going to say nothing because it was all about getting shape on the 6, and look at the shape he got on that 6. Very unfortunate, and what a chance for Daniel Maciol here.
Yeah, and having a quick look at the situation here, Gethin, it's not even a bad plan just to drop that 5 ball in and play snooker on the 6.
Yeah, I like that if he doesn't fancy it. There is always a way of playing it as a bit of a shot to nothing in looking to run the 11 ball through. Is it the 11 or is it the 13? Through the 5 into the corner as well. If he doesn't make that, he'll leave Victor safe. If he does make it, he'll have the 10 next. So could take this on as a bit of a double shot, hedging the bets, so to speak. Oh, it was thinking about it. It didn't. Maciol played it in such a way that he'd get full ball cover. Now, can Victor just catch the long rail first and trace that 6 ball towards the top right corner?
It is definitely makeable, this, Gethin. So I'm sure Daniel is not 100% confident sitting in his seat here. He knows full well that this can be made. And we've mentioned these left-handers. Very good at the tough shots. And have a look at that.
Didn't even seem to settle on the shot. He was just
Look,
down smash.
one thing we have always in our situation, right, when we do commentary, it's always easy to look, you know, smart, hindsight, but I really felt like when playing safe on that 6 ball, he needed to be close behind, let's say, the 10 ball or anything, you know, so just to eradicate that one railer. And well, that's the result. A great shot by Viktor Fortuni. Take nothing away from him. Did what he had to do.
Absolutely. For Aya, this match is staying as close as it can, and now it's Daniel Maciol's turn for his set of 2 breaks, and when it couldn't be more closer locked at 4-4. I think on paper you would have to have Daniel Maciol down as the slight favourite here, especially on the form that he's been in last year and this year. Big things expected of him in 2026. But still not making them balls into the side pocket. Has made a ball, but not getting the break completely his way yet. And you'd have thought by now it would have started working for him.
Yeah,
Still,
but look,
not a bad spread here.
Exactly, and he did control the cue ball. It's a main part in the break. Also made a shot off the break. Now, I would suggest the stripes is slightly easier. I do feel like that 10 ball below the 6 does go into the bottom right corner pocket, so just a matter of leaving yourself an angle to go towards the left side of the table. Or even play on the 10 here. If there's enough gap between the 10 and the 6 for him to be able to pot the 10, that would be lovely here.
I don't think he can. Putting the 9 has opened up a pathway for the red 11 stripe down into the bottom right corner. So
going for the 15.
Yeah. Now has options. Really doesn't want to leave that 10 till the last. Might have to now.
It's all right, as long as you can land your cue ball on the left side of the table, you know, preferably in the middle diamond or so. You know, from this camera angle, that looks rather tight. Get in.
Yeah, I love the overhead view. I will say that more than once today. It really does give you a good insight into what's available to what pocket. Now, take the 14. After the 11. Well, this could bring him down for the 10. If it passes the 1. It looks quite tight. But no, from Maciol's body language, it's on. And then it will be 10 to the 14, which will give him good opportunities to get on the 8, but this needs to be treated with care.
The good old LCT. Love, care and tenderness.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the angle that he wanted. He'll be able to float the cue ball short rail, maybe take a chunk of long rail as well.
In the end, that 10 potted quite comfortable. He potted in the thin side of the pocket, which indicates it could clearly be potted in, you know, the entire pocket there. Yeah. I don't know about you, Gethin. Kind of feels like this can go all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the rack before this, Victor came through with some fantastic shots, and I've just got this feeling that he's got the belief, and the scoreline would suggest that Daniel's not running away with this as maybe some people would have suggested he could have. And well, I like the balance that this match is sat in. Let's have a look at the balance across the other men's quarterfinals. I mentioned it was 4 apiece in the Radoslav Babica Simon Kural match, but now Radoslav has taken 1 rack lead, 5-4. Luca Men on table 3, which we're streaming. He's 5-4 up over the Spaniard Alvaro Canonilla. And the remaining matchup, again another all-Polish affair, Dominik Jastrzab is trailing 1 rack by 6-5 to Wojciech Szewczak in that match. So quite a few of the matches close. including this one, Arya. Maciol with the second of his 2 breaks. Did make a ball in the last one.
And over to the women's Euro Tour. We have a hill match on. That's between Monika Zabek, the only Polish lady representing Poland in the quarterfinals. Oh, I might be wrong on that one actually, but it is 6-all against Anna Gradisnik.
Oh, that's a tussle. That's a real tussle. And Maciol did not make a ball off the break. It looked like Victor may have thought he had done. He stayed in his chair, and then when he noticed Maciol not picking up his playing stick, he got up out of his chair and is now at the table. Not the easiest of openers, you'd have to say. He's looking at the 7 into the side pocket. But after what this young man did 2 racks ago with a very difficult pattern, I'm going to suggest he's going all on the offense here as well. What is he thinking here? The 9 is hampering the 5. Is hampered by the 5.
Lovely cue ball.
Yeah. Just wondering if he's going to come round and clip the 11 if he plays this 12. I don't think he needs to, because there's enough of a gap to be able to get on it for the bottom right corner.
He's rather full on this 12, so if he wants to clip that 11, he'll have to play this with loads of would be right spin from his point of view, just to check the cue ball.
It's the 9. It's the 9 that gets me. The 9 will open up to the past the 8 ball, perhaps, into the bottom right corner. Time running out. Hopefully that doesn't affect the outcome too much. But yes, it is that extra dimension the players needs to be aware of. How's he finished for the 12? This could be just right to bump into the 9 here, or even roll behind it.
Yeah, considering where that 11 ball is sitting, the angle he leaves himself on the 9 becomes crucial. He's not got a large window to place his cue ball on the 11. There might be an alternative where he can run his cue ball into the 4 and the 2. But whenever you're running into a cluster of balls to play position on another one, it's never without risk, has to be said.
Well, he didn't draw it as much as he wanted to. You can tell by the look on his face. But was the right action to get on the cue ball, to come back across the table? Now, just coming to see if there's a gap for the bank, because it is a very thin cut. What are you thinking here, Arya? If the bank's not on, is the cut?
Yeah, the cut shot. It's not easy, of course, and oddly enough, when you no, he's called a bank in the side. He did, and he's played it, and well, missed it by a diamond.
Oh.
So yeah, that's a let off.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate to see. I'm just wondering if the shot clock had started to catch up on him a little bit in that rack. It wasn't completely obvious, and a lot of thought and consideration needed to go into each shot, because it was quite a difficult pattern, but just wondering if that caught him out a little bit, and a bit of frustration that comes with that. But Maciol would have seen that, and well, he might think that's just a sign that it's getting a little bit to his opponent. Does he have the one? He does.
It kind of felt like he was trying to play a gentle nudge on the 2 or the 4 there.
Yep.
That's partially why he's kind of lost his cue ball there. Seems to have retrieved the situation here. Now, yeah, he's going to take the 5 after the 6, which is fine, as long as you leave yourself an angle on the 5 to work with. The rest should be a formality.
He should be able to just to pop out above the 8 with the 2 and the 4 available for the top right. Either of them will lend itself for a good opportunity to get position on the 3. And, well, a little part of me really was looking for Viktor to keep the scoreline level. He'd been playing so well in that and the 2 racks before. I was really impressed with his shot making, so I think Daniel's just run on a little bit here.
So if someone would have just joined us now, how would you summarize the match to this point?
Well, close. Both players not really getting the break working with any shape or form, giving their opportunities to the opponent, and both of them playing strong, and if anything, Daniel looking consistent, but Viktor looking like he's got the flair in the right spot. And if Maciol is to take this rack and take a 2-rack lead, well, that might be a little bit of pressure for Viktor, but I still fancy Viktor's got a very good chance in this match. And as long as he's not beating himself up too much about a couple of positional shots, I don't know. There could still be fireworks to come. And I guess the difference, Arya, is that when the breaks aren't working, there are more opportunities. You know, if you saw a player take a 6-4 lead and then you knew they were going to get 2 breaks ahead of them, you would start to imagine that there would be a big swing on the cards. But when the breaks just aren't going their way, well, that's when the opponent has the opportunity to make some magic. On this occasion, Daniel Maciol able to punish Viktor's mistake and will bring the scoreline 6-4 in the lead. And I'm just wondering, Arya, if Viktor just needed to fill up his glass or if they're taking a break. I would suggest glove is coming off. Aya, they will be taking a timeout. 6-4, race to 9. Well, we will be back very shortly with our players, and we should be able to see the culmination of this exciting quarter-final, and we'll bring you updates from the other tables as soon as we're back. Well, a warm welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we just joined back at this men's quarter-final. We just take a look down at the women's quarter-final matchup between Miriam Steiner and Pia Filler. Well, Pia Filler was 3-1 up when we last looked, and Miriam Steiner has won 5 on the bounce now to get to 6-3. And it looks like Pia's just had a dry break, so all happening over on table 1. And we come back to table 2 matchup here. Viktor Forunski against Daniel Maciol. Daniel just taken a 2-rack lead, but it will be Viktor to start off his third set of 2 breaks. My name's Gethin Davis, and I'm excited to be joined by Arya Sarabi for the rest of this quarterfinal. Welcome back, Arya.
Yes, Gethin, looking forward to this. Still not over though. Look, Viktor is 2 racks down. He's got 2 breaks, so he can still redeem the situation here.
Again, with the familiar elbow planted to the table for stability. I like that. Has he been rewarded though, Arya? Has he been rewarded? Daniel's getting out of his chair. Ooh. The balls are just breaking a little bit funnier in the last few racks. Not really coming to either player in a fashion which would lead to easy runouts. Or I would say easier. But Daniel's got a chance back at the table. And Viktor does not really want to let him get many more racks on the board. He'd ideally like to convert these 2 breaks he's got now. So Daniel looking at the 1 ball for his opener by the looks of it.
You know, I'll tell you something, Gethin. If there was a way for me to communicate with Viktor, I would say, young man, if you can just move your cue ball a bit more towards the center line of the table when you do the break, you don't have to do anything different. Break as you normally do. Just give it a shot. What do you got to lose? And you'd be surprised how better the layouts might actually look. He's stuck to his guns. He's breaking a bit with a bit more angle on the break. It's not worked out for him, and this is the worst possible segment of the match to have a dry break. He's 2 racks down, 6-4. Even if Daniel Maciol nicks one of these 2 breaks, he'll be on the 7 and he can run out the match afterwards. Playing with fire, Viktor.
Yeah, and you know that Daniel has been sat in his chair just waiting for the match to come to him. His breaks haven't come to him, but he surely feels confident that pound for pound he's the better fighter, so to speak. And he will pick patterns out of what looks like trouble quite well, although I have to say some of my favourite clearances of this match have come from Viktor. He's really turned it on and played some fantastic shots. A couple of them didn't look too snazzy, but the way he's played them and the action that he's put on them, to me, highlight shots. Oh, the 5 passes the 12. That makes a big difference, Arya, for getting position on the 5. Ah, that makes a bit more sense to me now. I thought Daniel was going to have to put a funky shot in there. He doesn't need to now. And this, oh, what a way to punish Viktor's break at a crucial point in this match.
Looking to draw this one back. He's got options here. He can even follow the cue ball through for the 8 in the side. He's made up his mind though.
This for a 3-rack lead, Arya. Oh, does make it Scoreline 7-4 to Daniel. Viktor Fortunski, a little bit more of a hill to climb, will get the second of his set of 2 breaks. And here's a question for you, Aya. At this stage of the match, would you dare change anything with your break?
Well, I'm glad you asked it, because I actually wanted to go a bit deeper on that. You know, as a I'll answer that, but I'll just, before I answer it, I'll say this. It never ceases to surprise me when you're breaking and you're not getting consistently the results. And you know, there's 2 parts of breaking. If you hit the first ball wrong, then of course that's the answer, right? When the break doesn't work out. But when you're breaking and you actually hitting the ball as intended and you're not getting the result, why are you stuck in that strategy? Why wouldn't you try and mix it up a bit? Exactly the same spot. So to answer your question, most definitely I would try something different. Now on this occasion, a bit wilder, and that cue ball tracked towards the side, but yeah, I'm surprised. I'm really surprised.
Do you think there's a little bit of an internal battle going on inside players' heads? It's a case of, I'm going to prove to myself that I can get this break working. But by the time you do, it's too late, sort of thing. I don't know, I've just seen it, like you mentioned, on a few occasions, players persisting. And, you know, for the same 3 breaks, getting the same poor cue ball, or getting the same scratch, or teasing the same pocket with the cue ball. And it never ceases to amaze me. And I'm just wondering if there is a case of, well, keep persisting with what you know can work, or is it worth just changing and risking maybe even making more mistakes? I don't know, but I had to ask you because I know that you understand consistency and pattern play a lot better than I can ever dream to.
I mean, look, Gethin, the thing is, pool in general is complex problem solving, and when things are not working, forget what you've done over the thousands of hours in practice. When things are not working at the table, surely it's not madness to try and adjust. Every great sportsman does that, whether you're Rafael Nadal playing Roland Garros and it's a bit drier that day, so the ball bounces a bit high. You just have to adjust. And the only reason I keep persisting on this point is you can clearly see Viktor Fortunski's got all the attributes to win this tournament. It's not like he's lacking in any department. So I'm really surprised he's not, you know, trying to deviate from his strategy.
Well, I have a saying that I like to reflect on more within a work environment than playing pool. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But in complete contrast, if it is broke, surely you should have to go out and fix it. So it's a bit of a tricky one, but I can sort of understand if it's what players know can work. It's just a case of they're not feeling they're hitting the ball properly or contacting it properly. But yeah, I've just seen Viktor play all of his breaks all from the same position. And wow.
There's a collector's item.
Stick that on eBay. Wow. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. And again, you have to call this a chance for Viktor. There's not really anything much on. He could play the 10 onto the 5 here and look to go safe. If there is such thing as a safe with the balls the way they are. That 7's upsetting the party somewhat.
Well, Gethin, these are the situations that separates the boys from the men. He's with his back firmly against the wall, faced with a tough opening shot and a tough layout, in all fairness. Can he keep himself together here?
Well, I have to say, that would not have been my opening shot, but what confidence this young man has. He's made it, Not the easiest of layouts. We've seen him make more difficult patterns already in this match. And straight away he's looking to see if there are any other problem balls he needs to deal with. I have to say, I'm not going to count this young man out. Trailing by 3 racks, he's going to need to ride a little bit of luck and maybe get a few more mistakes out of Daniel. Has he just run out of cue ball here?
I'm just wondering if he can see the putting angle on the 13. Now, if he can, it looks like a straight shot. Maybe a small draw shot here. Go past the 8 for the 15 into the opposite corner pocket. Not out of the woods just yet. As you can see, that 12 on the bottom rail does only go into the left corner pocket. So needs to leave himself an angle.
He had a look at the 11. I wasn't convinced if it passes the 7. He's just having another look. I would suggest it does. Maybe not, doesn't have a full pocket. Can slide it off the long rail if so.
That's okay, you know. You can drop this 11 in, use a little bit of side. Doesn't have to play this hard. It'd be a similar type of angle on the 12. I do feel when you take the 12 here, playing position on 11 is a lot harder than except a, you know, a mid-distance shot. More or less the same type of shot right now. Yeah, that's a mistake. That really is a mistake.
Yeah,
you can't convince me that this bank on the 11 is a better option than drop the 11 in and take the 12 into the corner pocket. He's just potted it.
Completely agree. I felt exactly what you were saying and recognized that it was always going to be difficult to get shape on the 11 coming up with where the 7 was. Big bank shot. Oh, center pocket, yeah. Not even a tap on the leg from Daniel. He means business, doesn't he?
Yeah, quarterfinals, 7,500 for the winner, up for grabs. Not the moment you want to make friends. You want to eliminate one another. Well, fair play to him. Made it a lot more adventurous than we would have foreseen. But there you go. He still came up with a fabulous bank shot on the 11.
Absolutely. His back was up against the wall somewhat there because he was facing the prospect of his opponent getting to the hill if he had made that mistake. So really top class stuff from the young man, and I'm very impressed with the way he's held it together. I think Maciol on another day could have got other players to crumble at some point, but Victor's got the belief. He's got the score line back to more respective 7-5, and this is the opener of Daniel Maciol's break. So if this doesn't go his way, Victor could start looking at bringing it back to him somewhat in this match. Well, 2 balls made, Aya. That 4 balls covering the 14. Does have options on both to open up. So it will be down to which one he fancies. I kind of like the solids, but where the 10 and the 12 are. What are you thinking, are you? Looking out over
10
there.
and the 12? 12 is at the top right.
Oh, sorry, the 10 and the 11. 10 and the 11. Locking up that bottom right.
Yeah, well, just purely because where the 4 ball is sitting, you'd have to think that the solids is the way forward. That 4 will pot into the bottom left corner pocket, so all the other remaining solids do have a pocket available to them.
What angle does he have on the 7? Is he looking just to draw down towards, yeah, towards the 11 here and leave the 6 into the side pocket? I just want to, while we watch this, bring you a quick update from the women's quarterfinals. We have 3 results already in. Daria Saranchuk booked her place in the semi-finals. Miriam Steiner, with a 7-3 win over Pia Filler, has booked her place. And Monika Zebek of Poland has beaten Anna Grediznik in a thrilling 7-6 matchup. And the last remaining match, well, Yasmin Ushan is 6-5 up on Dorozva on the hill over there. What an exciting quarterfinals in the women's event. Back to Daniel Maciol. Looks like it'll be 4 onto the 8 as his closing play here.
Yeah, and just to back up what you said on the women's quarterfinals, at the men's, we have 3 players on the hill. Wojciech Szewczak, 8-7 up, in that all-Polish affair. Luka Men, 8-4 up, as well as Radoslav Babika, he's also 8-4 up. So everything coming to the conclusion.
Oh yeah, we've turned everything up to gas mark 10. And we are cooking on this final day. Now, has he fallen quite straight on this 4? And is he able to draw straight back without touching the 14?
I don't think he can draw it back if he can just follow the cue ball on and off the bottom rail. I think the safest way to play position on the 8 is the 8 into the right middle pocket. Now, for some sort of reason, most players, they try to avoid the middle pockets. I always feel if you can pot the 8 in the right part of the pocket, it will always drop. Yeah, there you go. Perfectly straight in on this 8. This to put himself on the hill, so we'll have 4 players on the hill simultaneously.
Ooh, you'd have to fancy him for that, but as we both know, Aya, these Predator Arc tables have quite unforgiving pockets, especially in the side pockets, and Victor's out of his chair like a cat. Wow, what a swing.
Lost for words, get in.
Well, that's a rarity in itself, and look at the chance he's got here. If he's to bring this back to 7-6, Aya, all the pressure on Daniel's next break. This is great stuff.
Yeah, I was not kidding when I say I'm lost for words.
Ooh. Big 10 to get shape on this 8 ball. And Viktor Fortuni will bring what was looking like a very hazardous situation for him under control and gives him a very good chance in this
Just
match.
when he takes on this 8 ball, we do have one semi-finalist by the name of Radoslav Babika. He is through to the semi-final, and we also have another match on Hill, the all-Polish affair between Wojciech Szewczak against Dominik Jastrab on table 13.
Wow, we are getting some pool type matches. Business end of this Euro Tour event. And Viktor brings the scoreline back to 7-6. Daniel Maciol with the second of his 2 breaks. And, well, if he's not able to convert this, and Viktor can bring it back to all square, Viktor will get to the table with 2 breaks and only needing 2 racks to win the match. And in some respects, you'd have to call that a small upset for the way that Daniel Maciol's been playing.
Yeah, that missed 8 ball into the side pocket is unforgivable. He was, well, perfect on the 8 as well. There was no real obvious reason for him. Have a look at this. He's lost his cue ball, and this is, I'll tell you what, could it be written in the stars, get in? It looked very unlikely for Viktor Fortuni to have a sniff. But right now, right here, I'll tell you what, he's got the advantage now, even though he's 6-7 behind.
I like the way you put that. And yeah, I'm nodding along here. That looked like it was just a bit of built-up frustration from that 8 ball. And Daniel looked to take it out on the cue ball, and the cue ball careered off the table. Now, Viktor has to play forward from the kitchen here. And where that 1 ball is, he's going to go solids. And that's the only real, you'd have to say, tricky one for him. It's not tricky to pot it, maybe just getting position in and out of the 1. That's what he's looking at now. But great opportunity, and this is what makes the Euro Tour so exciting. And I'm not going to take anything away from Viktor. It would have been so easy to have just, yeah, lost a bit of faith, or just accepted a bit of fate, and he's decided to take that on. As I mentioned, he was going to need a couple of mistakes from Maciol. He's had a couple of mistakes from Maciol. He's punishing them so far. This is great stuff. Is he going to have to take the 5 here? No, I'd rather not.
I'll tell you what, Gethin, we need to go all the way back when he was 7-4 down, ran out of position on the 11, banked the 11, which was not a straightforward bank shot, just to keep his hopes alive. And here we are, in with a chance to make it 7-0 with 2 breaks upcoming for him on his turn. Quite remarkable stuff.
Four, 6, 5. Do you think that would be his preferred route here? Yes, that will be. Stop shot on the 5. If he can finish straight on this 5, stop shot into the bottom right corner will leave him plumb for the 8 in the bottom left corner. I can tell you now, 3 racks ago, if you'd have told me we'd be pulling back to 7-7, I would have had a bit of a surprised look on my face.
Isn't that the default look you have?
But I would have raised an eyebrow at the prospect of it, and certainly of what that would have entailed to get Victor back to 7-7. And this just needs a stop shot.
Quite remarkable, this get in.
Oh.
It really did not look likely when he was 7-4 down, and you know, he was losing cue ball control. And well, look, let's just presume he makes this 8 ball. Will he change? Well, that 8 ball was far from clean, but look, I don't know, Gethin. I just have this feeling he will not adjust his break, and you know, I hope one day I'll understand why, but let's just see. It is in his hands. It literally is. It's 7-0. He's got 2 breaks. He can easily produce 2 break and runs with his, which is well within his capacity.
Yeah, I agree. What you don't want is to persist with that break, which necessarily hasn't been providing as much fruit as it maybe has done so far through these 4 days. And if he were to persist and not succeed, there's going to be more questions to be asked. I don't think anyone would ask any questions if he were to try and change it, but if he doesn't, but gets it working at this perfect moment, well, all is forgiven. And I will not necessarily eat my hat, but I will certainly tip it in the right direction. So a good slug of water. Viktor Forunski comes to the table, 7 apiece, race to 9. 2 breaks to come from the young Polish player. He could win it in these next 2 racks.
Yeah, still
and more
sticking
importantly,
to his strategy.
He'll knock out one of the favourites. Well, one of the favourites I would have put down at the beginning of this tournament. He's still doing that, Aya. Has he moved a couple of mil to the right?
Well, I'll tell you what, his brother, his older brother, he was breaking from a different spot, and I mean, he literally, oh, have a look, oh, that cue ball was tracking, and he was arguably breaking the best I've seen on these stream tables, and oh, he's breaking from a completely different spot. This time around, he spotted a ball saved by the 15, by the way. That cue ball was otherwise going into the top left corner pocket. But have a look at this layout. Get in. Can we foresee any hiccups?
Do you know what? I would like either here. Stripes probably more favourable. If the 10 doesn't pass the 3, something to think about, but the 9 to the 10 would be quite nice. Ooh, what a time to break and run. In fact, I think I've only got 1 break and run in the book.
Yeah, both of these players are way too good not to run more. So it's no real reflection of, you know, their skill level. It's just been that sort of a game where neither of two have managed to pull away, even though Daniel Maciol was 7-4 up and looked for all the world he's gonna run away with this match. And right now, I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth, but he looks the second favorite.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking the same. It just goes to show how much strength, grit and determination Victor has. I'm sure sparring with Misko, his brother. Well, that's some of the best conditioning you can get.
Yeah, every good sibling had one that beat your ass all the time, but that actually forges you into this winning machine. And oh my god, have a look at this. I think that 9 can be putted, but it'll be interesting to see if it's frozen. Cue ball on the 9. I think it's frozen.
I didn't hear what she said. Maybe we need to call Quentin. Oh, it looks quite locked. Where's the 9 going? Oh, it just wasn't on the right line, unfortunately. And now Arya, one misstep from Victor in positioning. And now Maciol at the table, the 9 covering the 3. Everything else with the pocket. Ooh, I'm not going to predict anything from this point though, to be fair.
Yeah, but you don't need me to tell you that 3 ball is the key shot in this rack. And straight away, he's trying to get there. He would have loved to be a bit straighter on this 6. I mean, he's going towards the 2 ball, so I don't think he'll play position on the 3. Sorry, I said 2 ball, I meant 3. Might leave that 6 for a few shots later, just to be able to play position on a 3 ball. I suppose you have that 1 ball at the vicinity of the top right corner pocket as an insurance if you don't land perfect on the 3.
Still a little bit of an angle.
Yeah. This is one of those you want to just drop it in with a lot of side spin.
Ooh.
No, I can't foresee him taking the 3 on now. So, likely to adjust his plan here. This is a very tough shot. Take on the 1, leave yourself a good angle on the 5 and try again.
Yeah, I agree. Take on the 1. Yeah, the only other shot I was thinking would be to bank the 5 up inside the 9. And then try and keep the cue ball down that end of the table, but this tricky 1 ball. How's his shape on the 5? Is it going to come up enough?
I'll tell you what, getting in the midst of this very exciting climax of this match, we forgot to mention that Yasmin Ushan has finalized the semi-final lineup there.
Well done, Yasmin. Books her place in the semi-final. I also believe Luca Men has 2. 9-4 win over Alvaro Canonicha. Oh. Made it. Come round the back of the 9. No clear. Oh, yeah. Cut into the bottom right corner. Cue ball's going to be running a bit. It may run towards that 8. Ran full in the face into the 8. And well,
Still not out just yet.
no, it's not, are you? Oh,
Considering the
if this is-
circumstances, these are missable.
This is just the quarter-final. We've got more of this to come. I don't think my heart can take it, are you? Wow. Well, we've gone a little bit quiet in the box here. I have to say, it looked like that was Victor's for the taking. One poor positional shot. And a good clearance by Daniel Maciol sees him back out in the lead on the hill. And Victor trailing by one will get the second of his 2 breaks here. And will desperately be looking to bring this to a hill-hill, as Arya was saying. We were on a hill-hill over on our other Polish matchup. Well, we have 3 of them in these quarterfinals, but particularly between Wojciech Szewczak and Dominik Jastrzęb. And Wojciech's just taken that in the hill-hill thriller, 9-8. So we have 3 places booked in the semis. And it's now the 4th and final place down to this match. We're down to the final few racks. Can Victor bring it back and take us all the way to a hill-hill? It took a couple of attempts, Arya. That 10 ball has dropped. Not much out there option-wise for Victor, aside of the 1 ball, which may force him to have to go solid. He seems to like that. Can you get the potting angle for the 6 into the bottom left, or is the 11 ball hampering it? Oh, maybe not from this angle. Maybe able to have a go at it now.
Yeah, he can if he wishes to do so.
If any of our viewers are just wondering about the semis, they will take place 1:30 in the afternoon local time. Oh, he's just nudged that 6 out. Whoa! That'll make the 6 a bit easier, but has that made his clearing pattern a bit harder?
See, normally you play this shot on the 6 with left spin, but off the rail and over the distance, that becomes a bit more trickier now.
Well, he's not made it easy for himself on a couple of occasions in this match, and has been able to best the situation. Taking the 3 into the top left, and then it's all about getting on the 5. How's the cue ball? How's the cue ball? Oh, I think that's just stopped up short enough so that the 9 isn't hampering his cueing. Maciol, a rub of the hands. I think he believes this is going all the way.
If the word refusing, of not the word, the sentence refusing to leave the table was personified, just have a look back at this rack.
Yeah. And come on, cue ball.
That's okay. It's not perfect, but shouldn't be the type of shot for these players to miss.
What a rack of pull. And needed to be for Wiktor Forunski. He has brought this match back all square after trailing 3 racks. We're tied hill. Maciol to break. Will that be the small advantage he needs? I mean, going on his performance from the breaks today, I'm going to say 50-50, Arya. We could see Wiktor back to the table. Nice high five.
Well, Gethin, after 16 racks played, it has all come down to this final one. We already have the semi-final lineup. Who will join them? The winner of this match will take on another Polish powerhouse, Wojciech Szewczuk. One final break to determine who will prevail to the semi-final.
There will be a break between the now and the semi-finals. They will take place in an hour and a half from now, so set your watches. But do not go anywhere. This is what this Euro Tour was made for. Hill, Maciol to break.
No.
Oh.
Wow.
He can't buy a ball off the break. He cannot buy a ball off the break. And
Quentin Tarantino couldn't have written a better script than this. This is unbelievable stuff.
oh, there's 3 stripes and a 1 ball lined up down the bottom half of the table. I think all of them have a pocket.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Gethin. He's got a great chance here to finish off this match. And just have a quick look back if you want to rewatch this match. There was a time in the match where he was 7-4 down. He ran out of position and, arguably made the wrong shot selection. Had to bank the 11 just to keep his hopes alive. And I just wonder how important that little segment was. Of course, he needed a bit of luck and assistance from his opponent, but that's not in his hands, of course.
Yeah, on a different day, this could have been a different match. Maciol, when his break is working, well, he sometimes doesn't give any daylight to his opponent. On this occasion, on the day he doesn't get his break working, he's come up against a formidable Wiktor Forunski, who is, well, he's just looking better and better with every rack. Or certainly, I wouldn't necessarily say better, but more confident and a little bit more relaxed as well. And that certainly brought this match to him in great fashion.
You kind of feel this is the last hurdle. If he just lands nice on either of the 6 or the 3, that'll be it.
Well, I hope family FORUNSKI are tuning in for this. They should be very proud with this young man's performance. And now he has put himself in great position to take this. We use the word thriller for Hill Hills, but this one really has been. It's been a great one to have to pick out in the box here, Arya. 6-8.
We did expect a remarkable match and we got it, although maybe turned out slightly different than we expected, but it is the young man Viktor FORUNSKI that will go through.
What a fantastic performance by the young man. A little fist pump quite rightly. He's taken out one of the big names here, his fellow countryman Daniel Maciol, in an absolute thrilling Hill match. He will complete the lineup for the men's semi-finals. They will be kicking off. We'll do 2 sets of semi-finals today. The first set will be at 1:30 local time, just under an hour and a half from now. And we will have 1 men's and 1 women's on table 1 and on table 2 respectively. And then we will come back for another round of the semis and we will get to the finals this evening. It's been a great performance again by the young Viktor FORUNSKI. Thank you ever so much for everyone joining us, and a big thank you to Arya Sarabi. It's been an absolute pleasure. My name is Gethin Davis, and we look forward to having you back here shortly for more on our final day of Euro Tour action.